Testing, testing, testing. How do you guys hear me? Testing one, two. Testing one, two. It should be nice and loud. So, fun fact yesterday, I streamed. How long did I stream? Streamed for like a whole hour yesterday. Did not realize my Apollo Twin, which is my audio interface for my microphone here, it was on, but it wasn't connected via Thunderbolt. Apparently, I have a Asus ROG Z790 Hero motherboard. I run the Intel 14900K with the 4090. And apparently one of my Thunderbolt ports on the back of my motherboard just became like kind of fucked up. So even though the cable's fully like seated in there, it was like intermittently disconnecting and just out of nowhere. I don't even know why it's doing it. So after troubleshooting, like I had to reset the firmware, I re-downloaded the UAD interface, and I could see like it was connected. So like I could record audio from my microphone, right? Because you guys heard my stream yesterday. However, it was not getting processed through any of the electronic processing that I have set for my audio interface. So that was really annoying. So hopefully the audio today will sound a lot better. We're going to be doing the same thing today compared to yesterday. Oh, by the way, the fix for that was, since I have two Thunderbolt headers, I just swapped it from the first one to the second one, and it was fixed. So I will not be using my Thunderbolt 1 header anymore for Thunderbolt things. It works fine for USB-C, but for some reason the Thunderbolt interface was just not even working. Like even if I pulled up my Intel Thunderbolt manager, I could see normally like that my Apollo Twin is connected, but for some reason yesterday it wasn't even fucking working. I digress. Today, we're going to be playing some Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's go over to Game Capture. There we are. We're going to be playing some Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Cessna 152, again with the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrants. I did do some customization with the controls, which I can talk about in a minute. I'm going to get everything set up. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yep, I can see the audio from the desktop. I can see my microphone, and it should sound much better today. So we're going to do the same thing. We'll go to a free flight today. I probably should grab my checklist because we're going to fly this as realistic as we possibly can. So we'll grab our Cessna 152 checklist. I have a couple notes here. For example, yesterday we did not do any of the carb heat on the landing checklists and on the final, which is bad. You need to do that for the Cessna 152, or else you're risking ice building up. And we don't want that. So we're going to fly over here to England. I don't know what the flight conditions mean. Can you just do live? 24-hour history. Okay, it does let you. And live players. Save and back. We're going to fly over here at Cambridge because that's where I flew. We'll do the same thing. We'll pull out of the grass parking, except for this time I'm definitely going to just be up front. Departure. I'll have to figure out what the wind is. And we'll see what runway they want us to use. I would like for 05 to be our arrival because this is the pattern that I have practiced. I have not practiced the runway 23 arrival. So we don't want live. What do you think? 10 o'clock? 10 a.m. It snowed a lot today, so I hope this doesn't spawn like super shitty weather. Yeah, if it does that, we will restart the game. So let's go back into our thing. I want airplanes, search. Oh, today, by the way, I have my keyboard on top of the flight control, so I don't have to like reach over awkwardly. I could just CES Cessna 152. The Texatron Cessna 152 Aerobat. Cool, and we're going to configure this. I just want default. We don't need anything crazy there. Yeah. I will say the Kenmore livery. We'll just do... Oh, let's see. Yeah, we'll just go with that for now. Buy more liveries. I'm not doing that. Cool. Let's configure our weight and balance. So seats, let's just say 286. I weigh like 200. Let's say the passenger weighs another 100 pounds. Cool. Cargo is going to be none. Fuel, every time I've been flying, we've had like 10 to 11 gallons. So I'll just put 11 gallons in each fuel tank. Load an aircraft. Cool. Yep. Cool. Center of gravity. All right, cool. And close. And then we can save and back. And let's do our identification. We'll do Golf, Charlie Lima, November Bravo, which is the actual plane I flew in. Okay, cool. Save and back. And yeah, we're departing. Oof. 565 feet of clouds, visibility 3 nautical miles. We might have to edit the weather. Let's edit the weather. Yeah, it looks really bad. We'll do a preset. We'll do clear skies. We'll do few clouds. We'll make it realistic. Save and back. All right. That's a little bit better. Okay. Should be good there. Cessna 152, Cambridge. We're starting at the parking. Let's start our flight. Nice, we're right up front too. All right, I don't think I need to walk around super far on this. Okay. Yep, I don't need that at all. Toggle pins, chocks. Remove chocks. Let's start at the empennage. So we'll start at the back over here. And we'll work our way around. So normally the very first thing I would do actually was, if there's chocks, pull chocks. Most of the time the aircraft will be more down on these hooks and you'd have like little concrete things. We'd throw the rope back there. Damn, how tall am I? Oh shit, did not want to do that. What is that, Shift C? Get out of there. I lied, I went back in. To make this realistic as possible, I want to show you guys kind of what I do. We'll turn on that. I just want to go full flaps real quick. And then we'll turn this back off. Cool. Control or Shift C, get out of there. Okay. Now that our flaps are full extended, we'll start our pre-flight inspection of the aircraft. So, yep, elevator, we'll move it up and down. Yep, it moves. Our rudder. Yep, cool. And then in real life, I'm actually checking the linkages that connect the elevators and rudders. And if you go in here, you can actually look at the the manual wires that connect everything on all the flight controls, because these are not fly-by-wire. These are like your old school like turnbuckle style of aircraft. So it doesn't ask you to check your right elevator, which is interesting because this is the one that has the trim tab. So the trim tab's only on the right elevator, and you want to make sure that the linkage on the bottom right here is connected, and you can kind of see some of the hardware in here. Make sure everything looks good. But yeah, we'll keep moving around. Also, we check the bottom, and I'll give it a good shake too to make sure that it just doesn't like rip off from the tail section. Make sure everything's connected. I'll check on the bottom of the aircraft for oil leaks, because if it leaks out of the engine, normally it can drip on the bottom, especially in flight. And then we'll check our underneath the wing. Yep, examine the flaps. We'll examine our ailerons. Come on. There we go. Yep, ailerons are cool. Get out of here. So yesterday I couldn't remember what it's called, but it's called your creep line. So we'll have like a little red block of, in our case, red paint on the wheel itself and then the rim. And the creep line is when you land, it is possible for the wheel to move separately from the actual rim, which you don't want. You want them to move together as a unit. And that creep line lets you know if it has done that or not. So, cool, landing gear and strut. I'd be checking for the brakes too and making sure there's no hydraulic / brake fluid. I believe the only hydraulic system in a Cessna 152 is the brakes, so. And we check the landing gear and then the tire. And I'd also check the exhaust. We'll check our fuel and oil in a second. We go around to the front. We check our prop. We check inside to make sure our belt is connected to our alternator. Make sure there's no bird nest or any obstructions in there. You check the prop and the nose cone for nicks and dents. Looks good. We'll come back around. Did we not check our flap over here good enough? Oh, I guess we did not. Let's go fix that real quick. Check our tire, it's inflated. Check the wear, check for the creep mark. Check for the brakes and hydraulic fluid. And check our landing gear. Cool. Now with that, let's go. I'd go in the back seat and we're gonna check our oil real quick. Should be over here. So we'd open this up, I check our oil. It's at 6 quarts, cool. And then we got to make sure our fuel is not contaminated with water. So underneath the wings right here, nope. Right there, that's a point to check your fuel. So you just depress it, a little bit of fuel will squirt out, and you'll check that to make sure there's no water in there. You'll do that for the other side as well. Right here. And then that'd be good. And then in the oil cap right here, there's another lever. And there's a fuel line that is at the lowest part of the engine, and you would purge that to make sure there's no water in that as well. But for some reason, this one doesn't have it. Normally, there'd be like a little metal tube line that sticks out like right about here, and that's where that fuel would squirt out, just to make sure there's no contamination, mostly water or rust or anything like that. There's a freaking F-18 over here. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Hit the gym today. I'm a little tired. All right, so now we gotta check our external lights. So let's open and let's hop in here real quick. Oops, Shift C. All right, we're gonna do just master and bat on, and then I'm gonna just flip up all the lights. And we'll do pitot heat and our dome lights. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that's a carb heat. What? Check our dome light. Dome light's good. We're gonna get back out. I just want to do this quickly because you don't want to deplete the battery in the aircraft. I don't know why it's blinking here. Normally it should blink from there. Cool, red blinking light. We check our beacon. All right, and then our tail light would be on. I don't know, it's not rendering this really well, but whatever. Maybe it's because we hopped out that it's like freaking out. And then, yep, this side green, that'd be on. And then in the front, that's rendered correctly. Yep, nice and bright. Cool. So now all of our lights are good. We'll hop back in. Shift C. We'll turn everything back off besides our beacon. So we'll do that. Oh, we also didn't check our pitot heat. So we can do that real quick, actually. Let's hop back out real quick. Shift C, sorry. We check our ambient static pressure port right here. Looks good. This is our stall indicator. Make sure it's free and obstructed. And if you actually suck air out of it, it will test the stall horn. Make sure our pitot heat is good. You'd put the back of your hand on it if it's warm. Cool. And then this is our like our fuel vent. Make sure that's free and unobstructed. And yeah, that's good. So done with the external pre-flight. It's airworthy and we are good to go. So now let's start actually using our checklist and start knocking some of this stuff out. So we just knocked out the entire pre-flight for the external. So now we're on the before starting engine. So that is, we'll just go from the top. So pre-flight inspection complete. First aid and fire extinguishers. If this is a real aircraft, it would be in the back right here, like right behind the seat. If I hit shift, I might even be able to, it'd be like right here. This aircraft doesn't have one. Oops. So we'd have to fix that in real life. But in the plane we flew, we always had a first aid and a fire extinguisher. So now we're going to do our seat belts, and shoulder harnesses. So if you want to adjust your seat forward or aft, that'd be the time to do it. Make sure you're all buckled in for the sake of this sim. We're just going to say we're good to go there. And we're going to test our brakes. So this Cessna, I need to lower this a little bit. What in the world? There we go. I'm kind of like catty corner from, yeah. So this Cessna actually has a parking brake. The one I flew did not. So it was just chocks, and then you had to have full toe brake. So that is something that is new. Pretty cool. Yeah. Moving on. Brakes are good. Circuit breakers, we're going to make sure everything is in. So we check these right here. I do not see anything that is popped. Awesome. Radios, electrical equipment are off. All of our stuff is off because we don't even have the master on to set to on. And then our rotating beacon is on. Beacon will always be on. And our fuel shutoff valve is on. Our fuel shutoff valve is down here. And then that is the closed position. And when it's laying down like that is in the on, as you can see right there. Unlike the Cessna 172, we don't have a right, both, and left selector. It's just open. So cool. That is our before starting engine checklist. All done. So now we're going to move on to our starting engine. So we're going to assume this is a cold start. We're going to prime our aircraft. So pull it back. 1, 2, and 3. And then you kind of like push in and twist to lock it. So we'll say prime is good. Our carb heat is set to cold. Yep, right there. And that's funny that this is the carb heat. Actually, one of the changes that I did from yesterday is I set it to right here for carb heat. But now I know that that is this guy. Might have to change that. I digress. Our carb heat is set to cold. Throttle, we'll open that just a 1/2 inch. So we'll just, there's idle, and then there's a 1/2 inch right there. Make sure we'll set it to rich. In real life, you'd have to depress this little metal circle and then push in. It will not move unless you do that. And then we're going to check our prop area. So we'll make sure there's nobody in front of us. And we'd open up our window and yell, clear prop. And then I just like to look behind us, make sure we're not going to blow anyone over. And yeah, we'll get our ignition switch and turn it on. And once it's on, we'll adjust our throttle to 1,000. I'm going to adjust it to 1,200 RPM because that will, that's what the engine manufacturer says to do. So clear prop, coming on. You also have to make sure your master switch is set to on. So we'll do that real quick. Oopsie. All right, clear prop. I skipped that, so that was master switch on right before ignition, so I just missed that step. All right, here we go. Clear prop. All right, engine's on, and we're going to adjust it to 1,200. Right about there. And as it warms up too, it'll creep up on an RPM. I don't know how realistic the sim is. It may not do that, but in real life it does that. So you'll have to kind of slowly adjust it as it warms up. All right, cool. Now we're going to check our T's and P's, our temperature and pressure, both in the green. Excellent. And then, yep, fuel quantity is indicating correctly. Good on gas. And then we are going to set our flaps back to clean. And we'll check, just make sure left and right side. Awesome. Cool. So engine started. So now we're going to do after start. We're going to set up our radios. So it looks like our radios are already set to on. Cool, cool, cool. We could turn on our... I'll leave our transponder off. We'll put it on a standby. Cool. So our intercom system. So we'd plug in our headsets and we'd check intercoms. Oh, looks like that's where they connect over here. On the one I flew, the center console had the ports for the pilot and co-pilot. It looks like in this model it's over there, which is interesting because where would I plug my headset into? I digress. Let's listen to the ATIS. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and use this guy right here.
Cambridge Airport information, Yankee 2200 Zulu. Wind 270 at 4. Visibility 9er. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,700 foot, few clouds at 4,700 foot, few clouds at 13,800 feet, temperature 15.
I'm confused at why I can't 134,605. They should have changed it on here. I don't know why I didn't. Let's try it again.
Cambridge Airport information, Yankee 2200 Zulu. Wind 270 at 4. Visibility 9er. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,700 foot, few clouds at 4,700 foot, few clouds at 13,800 feet, temperature 15. Dew point 1 tree. QNH 101 tree 25. ILS runway 2 tree and visual runway 2 tree L in use. Landing and departing runway 2 tree and runway 2 tree L. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back, hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact, you have Yankee.
Alright, cool. So, at this point, we just have our ATIS, and I'll try to do my best to call it because I have horrible radio etiquette. So we'll set our lights as required at this point. We'll turn on our navigation lights and our taxi lights. Altimeter, our QNH is 1013, so I set that to 1013 right here. So 1, 2, 3. Yep, that puts us just above 0 on the altitude. The plane I flew in real life had a Garmin G5 right here and right here, and a nice Garmin avionics package in the Cessna, so it made it really easy, because now we're going to have to check to make sure our alignment 330, 340, 350, so we're just under 350 in our thing. Yeah, 33, 34, 350. Cool. So our compasses are aligned. We can also cheat up here because we can see we're at 349, which is a nice little cheat. Our balance ball seems to be working. All right, so we checked our altimeters. Our next is to obtain taxi clearance. So at this point, you'd call Cambridge Tower. I don't know why our call sign is this. You guys saw me enter that earlier, right? So I'll just say Cambridge Tower, Golf Tango Kilo, Zulu, Indigo. Whoa, what just happened there? What just happened? Whoa. Whoa, what just happened? Why do I have no electrical systems? What did I do to my radios? There we go. Wow. Bravo 6 going dark. I see it. I see it. I see it. Okay. That was weird. For some reason, my throttle quadrant said we had everything turned on. But I guess in the game it just turned it off. Anyway, let's call Cambridge down ground. So tower. So we say Cambridge Tower, Golf Tango Kilo, Zulu Indigo. Good morning with information Yankee on the grass parking area. Type Cessna 152. QNH 1013 requesting taxi. And they'll read that all back. They'll say, read back correct, QNH 1013. Taxi via Alpha, Alpha, Bravo, line up and wait, whatever. So we'll just actually call tower now. And then I'm going to depart straight out.
Cambridge ground Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India ready to taxi straight out departure with Yankee.
Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India taxi to and hold short of runway 23 using taxiway Bravo Alpha. Contact tower on 125. 905 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 23 using taxiway Bravo Alpha Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
Cool. So that's our after start checklist done. So taxi checks, we're just going to check brakes and flight control instruments. So when taxiing off there's a cat. So when taxiing off of a grass parking area, we're going to pull back our flight controls, right? Because that way, in case a gust of wind hits us, our nose is not going to bounce down, right? So we're going to do check left and right, make sure we're not going to run into anything. We're going to recenter our view, and then I'm going to pull back on flight controls, or I'm going to max toe brake, release parking brake. So you can see you got max toe right there. Pull back flight controls, recenter my camera view, and then we're going to increase the throttle. And we're going to start moving. And we're going to slow it down, hit the brakes, and we want to come off this grass nice and slow at about a 45-degree angle, just like that, and then we can throttle down a little bit. And normally in real life, there's no obstructions like a bus or a fucking helicopter and truck over here. Normally this is just an empty parking area. So because there's a bus and a helicopter here, it kind of makes this a little bit more challenging what I'm going to try to do. So at this point, I would do like I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to do a pretty sharp left and right turn to make sure my instruments, I'll start the right and make sure my instruments and compass are tracking. I'll do my left, and you can see balance ball, compass is tracking, and then I think he said line up at Alpha. We gotta do our run-up checks. So normally I'd park over to where those helicopters / trucks are and do my run-up checks, but because I can't, I'll just line up right here at runway 23. Max toe brakes. Make sure I bump up our throttle back to 1200 RPM. Cool. All right, so before takeoff, we're gonna do our before takeoff checks. Parking brakes are set, cabin doors are latched and locked. Flight control surfaces are free and correct. So at this point, I'd grab my yoke, we would turn it to the right, or I'd push in, pull out, turn it the other way, push in, pull out, and then while I'm doing that in real life, I'm actually like looking at the elevators, I'll look at the ailerons, make sure everything looks correct, which it does. And then I'd also pull back and adjust my trim. So I'm going to pull back, I'm going to adjust my trim. which just for some reason takes fucking forever to do. And it doesn't move, but in real life this would move up or down. And then we'll just reset our trim for takeoff, which is right about there. Cool. Awesome. So flight controls are good. Our flight instruments are going to be checked, so we can see T's and P's are good. I'm going to turn on carb heat for a little bit. Actually, we'll do that in a minute. Our fuel quantity is good. Balance ball is good. No indications of anything incorrect. Let's see if we're still in alignment. So we'll check our compass. There's 1, 2. We're in between 1, 2 and 1, 3, so 1, 2, 5, which that agrees with that. And then, yep, you can see 1, 2, and 1, 3, so 1, 2, 5. Yep. Awesome. So our instruments are lined. We'll check fuel shutoff valve. Confirmed open. Cool. Our mixture is rich below 3,000 feet, which it is. It's fully seated in. Elevator trim set for takeoff. Yep, it's in the white. We can put it up maybe just a little bit. Set for takeoff. Cool. Our throttles, we're going to now bump it up to 1,700 RPM. And before we do that, we're going to check behind us. Those guys are behind us, but in real life, they'd be known behind us. So, and we're going to bump it up to 1,700 RPM. So bumping it up. All right, now we're going to check our magnetos. So when we do our magnetos, RPM will drop a little bit. So starting with our right magneto. Cool, going back to both. And left magneto. Going back to both. And what we're checking for is RPM drop should not exceed 125 RPM on either magneto, or 50 RPM differential between the magnetos. And we're good there. So now I'm going to check the carb heat, which I have it binded to this switch now. And you'll see it drops a little bit of RPM. We'll leave that on for about 20 seconds. And in real life, what that would do is, if there's any ice buildup on the carburetor, that heat will melt that ice. So if you see a massive RPM increase, it's a pretty clear indication that you got a lot of ice buildup on your carburetor. So magneto or carb heat should be good, and RPM is now back to normal. Cool. Engines, instruments, and altimeters are set. Yep, 1013. Cool. I'll show you how this is bound. So when I press this button, you can see the carb heat pulls out. Pretty neat. And I just found out that my honeycomb throttle quadrant has carb heat all the way over here, but it's easier just to have it on the yoke. But enough playing with that. We'll turn on our landing lights. We're now going to go to full idle, and we're just making sure that it's not going to shut off on us. So throttle's going to full idle now. Because if it does shut off, we have issues. Normally, yeah, you'd probably be just right around here, maybe a little bit lower, between 750. It's kind of what you're shooting for. Looks good. We'll bump it back up to 1200. Awesome. There's 1200 RPM. Cool. Throttle friction lock. So this sim, oh yeah, you can see it where that knurl is. You tighten that. That way the throttle doesn't just slide up or down while you're flying. So I keep mine pretty stiff, giggity. But we set that. Our radios, nav aids, and avionics are set and checked. So at this point, I'm going to set it from standby to alt. So we're transmitting our altitude. Wing flaps set for takeoff. We're taking off clean. And a departure brief. I haven't done a departure brief, but we're going to be probably departing straight out, going blah, blah, blah. Runway 23, I'm going to be making a right turn heading south, and we'll bip and bop around there and have a good time. So, cool. All right, last pre-check instruments. Check alignment, we already did. Navigation lights are on as required. Landing light on, which we just turned on. Transponder, set it to 7,000 and mode C, and we're transmitting. Yep, 7,000. Brakes, release. So now I got to get clearance from tower to get on the runway. Let me call that real quick.
Cambridge Tower, Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India ready at runway 23 departing straight out.
Cessna Golf, Tango Kilo Zulu India QH101 tree straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 23.
Cleared for takeoff runway 23 Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
India. Did I say indigo earlier? I'm stupid. All right, cool. Clear for takeoff. All right, on the center line, everything looks good. Make sure in real life my seat is comfortable. All right, here we go. Brakes off and bumping up the throttle. We're gonna give it a bunch of right rudder because it's gonna kick the tail to the left. There we go. Give it some right rudder. Wait for airspeed to come live. Airspeed is live. Get back on the center line. 40, 45. 50, there's 55, we're gonna start rotating. Point the nose down, build up airspeed, there's 70 knots, and now we're gonna bank up for our best rate of climb. There's no landing gear to retract because this is fixed. And I'm gonna start trimming for best rate of climb. This trim wheel sucks. Yeah, we're about trimmed out right there. Keep flying runway heading of 230. And yeah, let's fly up to like let's go up to 2,000 feet today. So we'll fly up to 2,000 feet. I am going to start a slow right-hand turn. I'm going to decrease our angle of climb just a little bit, maintain a little slow. We want about 70 knots. We're climbing out. We're slow right now, about 65. As you can see, though, look at the altimeter, about 500 feet per minute. We're like a rocket right now. Already at 1,000. I mean, I'm pretty trimmed out right now. I can probably trim it a little bit better. All right, we're at 1,100 feet. And then yeah, we're good. Normally at this point we get handed off to Cambridge Approach from Cambridge Tower, and they would tell us probably normally to set our transponder to 7010. But since it's a Microsoft Flight Simulator, you know, it can't be perfect all the time, so just keep climbing and see where we go from here. Also, I have fixed my hotkeys. Look at this. We can see outside now. So you can see beautiful weather. It's flying good. Leaving Cambridge is the airport over there. Yeah, we're just gonna be heading out over here. We'll get to 2,000 feet. We'll level out. So we're at 1,800 right now. Once it gets about 50 feet before 2,000, I'll pitch the nose down, decrease our airspeed, and then I'll retrim. Select, hold, and trim. All right, there's about 1950, so I'm gonna point the nose to level attitude. I'm gonna decrease our throttle to about 2,300. And then I'm going to correct our trim. Trim. We're trimmed out. And look at that. Pretty much trimmed out. In real life, we would have been right at 2,000 feet. In this Microsoft Flight Simulator, as soon as I put the nose back down, it like leveled out, which is kind of a nuanced difference. We're just below the cloud layer too, from our external view.
Cessna Kilo Zulu India leaving my airspace.
There we go.
Frequency change approved.
Now we're going to approach. Yeah, flying right at 90 knots. This is cruise speed for a Cessna 152. Oh my God. Why is there so many people talking?
Squawk 502 Tree Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
50. Oh my God! I'm a cheat mode. Did you see that? I did not do that.
Northwest of Cambridge, 2,000 feet QNH 1013.
I don't know if we can open up the window. I think there is a warning here that says do not open up the window at a certain airspeed. I'll have to see if I can see that in here. Fires, ditching, electrical fires, malfunctions. It's just no. I'll have to do info on that. But yeah, an important thing to monitor is if we're flying in balance. So if I let go of the right of my rudders completely, well, right now I'm in a slow turn. If I level out, also I need to start turning. To the west because I don't want to fly into Lake and Heath airspace because they will get mad at me. I think we're in trim. Yeah, we're descending just a little bit now. But yeah, I mean, this is it right here. Flying the Cessna 152. I'm gonna see if I can show you guys some cool things that I learned about flying the Cessna. So there's primary flight controls, which is your roll, pitch, and yaw. So your roll is with your ailerons, and I'm gonna use my, sorry about that. I'm gonna use my yoke to do a roll. So I'm gonna do a turn to the left. And then I'm gonna level back out. And I'm gonna do a turn to the right. I'm gonna level back out. Now, seems pretty easy, right? You just turn in the direction you wanna go. Well, I'm gonna turn and I'm not gonna pull back on my yoke. I'm gonna show you guys what happens when you do a turn without correcting. So a secondary effect of roll is pitch. Your nose is gonna wanna pitch down into turn, and I'll demonstrate that real quick. So let me turn to the left. I'm not adding any sort of input. You see the nose is going down? See how we're losing altitude right now? And we'll pitch back up. Level back off at 2,000. I'll do the same thing. I'll turn to the right. So I'm gonna, the secondary effect of roll is pitch. So it wants to pitch you down. So I'll turn to the right. You can see the nose is dropping and we're heading towards the ground right now. So I'll recorrect that by flying back up to 2,000. And then I'm going to show you the secondary effects of your rudder. Let me trim back up real quick. Should be trimmed out there. Awesome. Trim out a little bit. All right, now I'm going to show you the effects of rudder. So, rudder affects your yaw, right? So your side-to-side movement of the aircraft. And when you do a roll, so when you're turning, you can use your rudders in a roll to help have the efficiency of the roll. So, if let's say I'm in a roll and for some reason I am increasing in altitude, like I'm pulling too back far enough, I can correct that by either pushing forward or I can use my rudder pedals, because the secondary effect of your rudder is pitch. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick. So I'm just going to use my rudders. I'm not touching the flight controls at all with my hands. And it will push the aircraft to the side, yaw, and then you'll see it's going to want to roll. Here we go. Oh, and we're going to roll, and then we're going to recover. So wings level, pitch back up, and level back off. And I'm going to do the same thing with the right side. So again, hands off flight controls. I'm going to go full right rudder, and you'll see the secondary effect of rudder is roll. So here we go. And we're rolling. We're falling. And we're falling. Recover. All right. Wings level. I'm going to go idle on the throttle. Level out. Dropped altitude. Pitch back up. Once we're at a safe speed, start bringing back up the throttle. And since we're climbing now, I'm going to go full throttle again. You can overspeed your prop. Fun fact. There's about 2,000 feet. Put it back to 2,300 RPM. Right about there. So yeah, I'll show a turn. I'm going to now do a constant turn while maintaining 2,000 feet. So I'm going to start my turn. We'll do a left-hand turn. We'll do a 30-degree bank angle turn. And I'm pulling back on the flight controls right now to maintain that constant pitch. This is super easy on the Microsoft Flight Control Sim. In real life, you'd have to be doing all kinds of micro corrections, but this is like flying a stick of butter. It's so smooth. Okay, increase our bank angle a little bit. There's 30 degrees. Yeah, right about there. And I have to pull back while I'm doing this turn, or else I'm gonna pitch down, right? Cool. Now let's see if we can induce a phugoid oscillation. Phugoid oscillation. Now theoretically, if I pull back on the yoke, the aircraft will pitch up. But if I let go, it's going to decrease airspeed, which will pitch the nose back down. But then when the aircraft goes back down, it's going to increase airspeed, which will move the nose back up, and it will do that until it eventually levels out. So let me just get a good trim real quick. All right, we're at a really good trim right here. And I'm just going to pitch up. And you can see our airspeed's decreasing. I'm going to let go. And now we're nose down. Now our airspeed's going to increase. And now you can see our nose is pitching back up. That is called a phugoid oscillation. And it will keep doing that until it levels out. So now we're banking back up. And you can see our airspeed's going back down. 80 knots. And then it's leveling back out. Pitching back down, airspeed's increasing. It's back to 90 knots. And it's pitching back up. As airspeed increases, it creates more lift, which increases, which pitches up the nose. So yeah, that's called a phugoid oscillation. Microsoft Flight Simulator has it. Alright, so we've done enough weird random shit. Let's start flying back towards Cambridge and see if we can do some circuit training. Yeah, these are things I never thought about when I was flying an airplane, and just shit that I've learned. I was like, that is crazy. I never would have thought about, like, I never thought about the secondary effects of a primary flight control. Like, roll will cause your nose to pitch down. I didn't think about that. But yeah, there's like a lot of things to think about. There's all kinds of flap configurations, stall. I can show you guys a stall. Let's do a stall real quick. Let's do some stall stuff. So I'm going to go full throttle. So now we're back up full throttle, and then our aircraft should just naturally start to pitch up, but I will pitch it up. About 70 knots is your best rate of climb. Just pitch up right about there, and I would normally trim out for a climb, but just keep climbing. Pitch back down a little bit because our airspeed's dropping a little too much. And we're climbing up to flight level 0300. Because 300 would be 30,000, so 03 would be 3,000. All right, we're gonna pitch back down, decrease our RPMs to 2,300. Cool, right about there, and then we will trim up to make sure we are not falling and climbing. It's a little bit hard to see because we're flying into the clouds right now. So I'm going to do a little bit of a turn over in this direction. We'll fly this way for a little bit. Still, all right. So we're at 3,000 feet right now. And before we do any sort of stall training, you want to do a couple things, which I cannot remember because I'm a fucking scrub. But I know part of the checklist would involve your carb heat, so we can look down and get our carb heat on. A little bit of drop in RPM. Also, flying through clouds, you probably want to intermittently use your carb heat. Cool. Carb heat's good. And then we're going to look at our location. So we're above some fields. Our altitude is good. And then we would do some turns. Let's just do a quick turn real quick to make sure there's no aircraft. And that's at this point, I'd be looking out my window in real life, verifying that there's no planes or obstacles or anything that I could potentially crash into. So this is like part of the check. And you're looking below you too. You don't want to be flying into people. So we'll position ourselves over this field right here. Cool, and we're actually slightly high right now, so I'll trim it up, correct the trim. All right, that should be good there. All right, cool. So now all I'm gonna simply do is just back off. Now we're doing this with flaps clean, so it might be a little bit harder of a stall. So I'm just gonna back off the RPM, and I'm just gonna keep the nose level, which I have to start pulling back because airspeed's decreasing, the nose is gonna wanna drop. So I'm pulling back, and you can see our airspeed's at 60, pulling back, and I'm gonna have carb heat on, pulling back, There's our stall, and we'll keep pulling back to see if we can get it to buffet a little bit. Nothing. I mean, in real life, the aircraft would be like going like buffeting really hard. Our stall horn is screaming. We're falling about 500, 600, 700 feet per minute. There we go. All right, and there's our stall. All right, full throttle. Airspeed's increasing, wings level, carb heat off. And yeah, that's how you recover from a stall. And then our airspeed's good, and we can immediately start climbing back up. But as you can see, we lost quite a bit of altitude there. And that was a really gnarly stall. It actually like rolled us. The Cessna is so stable in real life. You're gonna have to be in a really like nose high pitch for it to like really roll you like that. Because when I did the stall training, it would just be like wings level, but just like plummeting from the sky, and the stall horn would be like screaming at you. But it never like rolled like that. So that was kind of a new one. But all right, let's start heading back towards Cambridge. We'll knock out a couple circuits. RPMs back to 2300. It's hard to tell. Wings level. I can't fucking see a goddamn thing with this glare. Son of a bitch. That looks good. Alright. Where's Cambridge at? I don't even know where I'm at anymore. Cambridge should be this way. I see it. There's a good Cambridge. And we're going to start kind of bleeding off some altitude for circuits, because we want to be around 1,000 feet for circuits. So instead of like pushing my nose down, I just simply let off the throttle. And because our airspeed will decrease, our nose will naturally pitch down. Oh yeah, and we can follow this road too. Fun fact, if I follow that highway, it'll take us straight to my house. Which I'm not sure if I want to fly over on streaming on YouTube, because, you know, I don't want randos to be like, oh, you live here. Even though I've only had a total of 8 views on the stream. But 8 views means there's more than... It means I had to get a couple randos in here for the 8 views, so I appreciate that. I have 1 current viewer. So you can see right now we're descending about 500 feet per minute. A little bit slower now as our airspeed's kind of creeping up. But yeah, we're still cruising. There's Cambridge out in the distance. And just from what I remember, Aero Club should be over here. That's me. Well, I appreciate you watching. I hope this is somewhat interesting, because it is fun to fly simulated when you have flown in the real thing and then flying simulated, finding the little nuanced differences. It's really interesting, because this aircraft is not exactly the same one. I like the real one I flew in had like nicer avionics, so like some of the 2 of the gauges, so like my compass and like my attitude indicator was digital. It was like a nice LED screen. And then some of the radios over here, and I had like a little box right here that I could see a map to like what zones I should not fly in and stuff. And then I had an instructor pilot, which this does not look like my instructor pilot. However, they do look like they're wearing David Clark's, which is somewhat realistic, because that's the ones I used. Alright, I gotta figure out where I'm at. I see... I think I see it. Yeah, that's the tower. So, yeah, we land. I'm going to be getting in the pattern and landing over here, because I'm going runway 05. Okay. Where are we at? We're at 2,000 feet. We're going to lower our engine. I don't want to cancel my flight following. All right, circuits get fun. Because I have my checklist that my instructor Cecilia sent me right here. It's called Bumfitch. Brakes, undercarriage, mixture, fuel instruments, carb heat, and hatches and harnesses. Final approach, do your TPC, tows, carb heat, and permission to land. And then, our checklist for stalls was hassle, Hassell. Height, sufficient for recovery, at least 2,000 feet AGL when in dual or 3,000 feet solo. Airframe, clean, flaps required. Straps are tight. Security of loose items are secure. Engine T's and P's are in the green. Carb heat on. Check for no rise and no ice. Location and lookout. So that's what I should have done for the stalls. But I can't read. Alright, 1,000 feet. Let's go back to 2,300 RPM. Level out. Cambridge looking beautiful. I gotta fix this. Oh! The trim wheel. Ah, this trim wheel sucks. Come on. Alright, that's good enough. See, it's beautiful. Beautiful in Cambridge.
Cambridge approach Cessna Kilo Zulu India, cancel flight following. Cessna Kilo Zulu India, Cambridge approach, cancellation received. Squawk 7000. Frequency change approved. Cambridge approach Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India is type Cessna 152 2 miles northwest of Cambridge 1,000 feet. Request flight following. Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India, Cambridge approach. Squawk 4747. Squawk 4747 Cessna Kilo Zulu India. Cessna Kilo Zulu India, radar contact 2 miles north of Cambridge, 1,100 feet, QNH 101 tree. Roger, Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
Yep, QNH is good. Hello?
Cambridge Tower Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India is 1 miles northeast, 1,000 feet with Yankee to land.
Cessna Golf, Tango Kilo Zulu India, Cambridge Tower. QNH 101 tree, make left traffic runway 05.
So on a kind of a somewhat botched final. We'll figure it out in a sec. There we are. 230. There we go.
Enter left downwind runway 05
All right.
Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
We're gonna do our pre-landing checks. This is bum fitch. Brakes, check for pressure. Make sure we're not putting toe brake pressure. Undercarriage is fixed. Our mixture is rich. Our instruments are compasses aligned, and our T's and P's, which is our temperature and pressure, are in the green. I concur. And then our carb heat is on. And then we're gonna check for no rise and no ice coming off, and we're gonna carb off. And then our hatches and harness is secure. Pre-flights are good, and we have our landing checklist good to go. Flying right at 1,000 feet.
Wind 270 at 4. Cleared to land runway 05.
Clear to land runway 05 Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
All right, awesome. So we just got our landing clearance. So I'm gonna start my turn right now. I'm gonna start backing off my throttle because we want to be in the white arc to deploy flaps. So I'm gonna go about 1900 RPM. And I'm gonna keep my nose up. Airspeed drops, right, pulling back, and then I'm gonna go 10, 20 on flaps. So now I have 20-degree flaps. I'm going to pitch my nose back down because I want to maintain about 70 knots of airspeed. And we're right on line right now, and you can see airfield's right here. I'm going to start a nice gentle turn. Airspeed's a little high, so I'll pull up. Oh, shit! We're high and off. I'm going to do a go around. Request report go round.
Going around Cessna Kilo Zulu.
So flaps are clean. I'm going to go full throttle.
Kilo Zulu India, Roger, go around.
We'll try it again. Flight runway heading of 05. I don't even see a tower. It's there, I promise. I'll show you in a sec when we land. It's a little tiny one. It's not even a big one. All right, so in real life, I've used this highway as a frame of reference when I start my turn. So actually, I'm a little fast right now. I'm going to 80 knots. And then I'll start my turn right here. I'll level off, back off the throttle just a wee bit. Keep it at 2,300 RPM. And then I'm going to 120. I need to fix my trim. Why is my trim so off right now? Alright, we'll start our downwind turn. I'm way high. Holy shit. About 200 feet high. We'll correct that. I lowered our RPM. We'll request touch and go.
Cambridge Tower Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India 1,100 feet touch and go.
Cessna Golf, Tango Kilo
All right.
Zulu India, Cambridge Tower.
Pre-landing checklist.
101 tree
Brakes,
fly,
undercarriage is fixed. Our mixture is rich. Our fuel is good.
Left downwind, runway 05 Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
Our instruments and T's and P's are in the green and aligned. I'm all over the place right now. There we go. This is harder to do in the sim than it is in real life. Our carb heat on.
270 at 4. Cleared touch and go left traffic runway 05.
Carb heat on and off.
Clear touch and go runway 05 Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
All right. We'll go a little bit more of a extended downwind. Turn out here. All right, we'll try this again. Backing off throttle, keeping the nose up. All right, 1, 2. Flaps are at 20 degrees. Put your nose back down. I'm gonna trim. $70 knots. Increase our airspeed. Yep, Airspeed's right at 70 knots. Increase our airspeed a little bit more. And then we're going to start our turn right here. Started probably a little early. We're high. And then carb ice on. I forgot to do carb heat. Toes clear, carb heat cold. And then permission to land, already granted. Let's get on that center line. Coming away fast. I'm gonna go full idle. Third stage of flaps. 30-degree flaps, a little off the center line. Let's get back on. Airspeed is decreasing. Increase power. Keep it at 70 knots. There we go. Yep, nice. Yep, 65. And right as we get over the numbers, we'll decrease our power right about here. Decrease power, decrease power, decrease power. I'm going to start rotating, rotating, rotating. I'm going to keep pulling up, keep pulling up, keep pulling up, keep pulling up. Nice. And we're down. Flaps clean. Flaps are coming up and full power. Airspeed's live. 40, 50, 55, and rotating. All right, we're in the air. Pitch the nose back down. Increase the airspeed to 70 knots. 70 knots, and now we're going to pitch for our best rate of climb. Select, hold, and trim. I'm going to start trimming. Between like 10, 12 degrees seems to be like kind of the sweet spot in the Cessna. 70 knots, full power. And yeah. Where am I heading? We're climbing. Try to climb more. $300. Let's start a slow turn to about 120. I rolled out of that a little late. Turn back to 120. So in real life, there's like a wiggly hedge, which it doesn't really have it rendered correctly in here, but in real life, that's what I'm looking for. Pitch nose back down a little bit, make sure airspeed's at 70 knots. Right about here, I'm gonna start making my turn. Still gotta climb, because I'm not at 1,000 feet yet. Level out, throttle back. Alright, at this point I'd call Cambridge Tower. We're gonna crest a full stop landing.
Cambridge Tower, Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India 1000. 4 to land.
Cessna Golf, Tango Kilo
Alright,
Zulu
let's do our
India,
checks.
Cambridge Tower.
Pre-flight landing checks. Brakes, we're gonna make sure, check for pressure, toes off. Undercarriage is fixed, our mixture is rich. Our fuel, our T's and P's, fuel is good. T's and P's are in the green. Let's see, instruments aligned. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Carb heat, we'll set that to on. No RPM drop. Set that to off. Good to go. And hatches and harnesses secure. Pre-landing checks complied with. And we're just decreasing altitude. I gotta increase 2,300. Get back to 1,000 feet. Cool. I fucking hate my trim wheel on this damn thing. Little further. This quarry that's right here is the point where you want to start turning. That's the landmark, at least, that I've mentally established. And we got our landing clearance, so we're good there. I'm fighting the trim right now. Come on, you son of a bitch. Go down, what the fuck? Now I'm gonna start my turn right here. A little high. Alright, and then at this point, I'm gonna back off the throttle. I'm gonna keep my nose up. I'm gonna turn my carb heat. Carb heat is on. I'm gonna keep my nose pulled back. And I'm gonna go 10, 20, flaps are being deployed. I'm gonna pitch my nose down for 70 knots, a little slow on airspeed. 70 knots, I'm looking. Keep 70 knots. There's the runway. Looking good. Looking good. And we'll start our final right now. Now I'll call Cambridge Tower. Cambridge Tower, Golf, Zulu, what is it? India. On final runway 05. Full stop. Yep, and I'm gonna go full flaps. We're a little high, and I'm off the center line. That was a horrible turn, by the way. And then carb heat off. Bump up the airspeed. Get on that center line. Get on that center line. A little bit of left rudder. Airspeed's a little slow. Get back on. More power. And above the numbers. We're going to back off power. Coming a little high. There we go. And keep pulling up. Keep pulling up. Keep pulling up. Keep pulling up. A little bit of left rudder for the wind. Keep going. Nice. That was a good landing. Alright, get back on the center line. And then we are going to taxi down because we're coming to a full stop. We're going to see where...
Cessna Kilo Zulu India exit runway when able.
Okay. Do I not have to say anything about that? Oh, yep, right here. Yep. Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. Slow down. Start left rudder. Oh, I was going too fast. There we go. That's all right. Off runway. We get past the
Zulu India turn next taxiway.
get past the VFR hold line. I'm already on the taxiway. You fuck.
Cessna Kilo Zulu India contact ground on 125. 905.
All right, we're gonna come over here.
125. 905 Cessna Kilo Zulu.
And we're gonna go to a full stop right here because we got to do a post-flight checklist because we just landed.
Ground Cessna Golf. Tango Kilo Zulu India request taxi to parking.
After landing, carburetor heat check cold.
Cessna Golf.
Carburetor heat is check cold. Shut up.
Taxiing to General Aviation, parking via taxiway Charlie Echo Cessna Kilo Zulu India.
Glad we established that. Carburetor heat is off. We're gonna check our flaps. Go back to up. 1, 2, 3. Flaps are coming up. Landing lights and strobes. We'll turn those off. So we'll turn everything off except beacon. And then we will turn off our transponder to standby because we're not flying anymore. And our trim, we'll set that back to neutral. Right about there. Cool. All right. Now we'll keep taxiing. Brakes off. Increase throttle. And you want to make sure you're always looking left and right to make sure you ain't going to bump into anyone. Why is there a vehicle on the taxi line that's just parked there? Don't know. I do not know. But it's not safe. And we're going to run right into him. Watch this. Oh, we missed him. Alright, let's get back on the center line. Alright, right rudder, a little bit of brakes. little bit of right brake. There we go. Make sure if you have to brake during a turn, you make sure you go to throttle full idle. You don't want to be having... You don't want to be fighting the brakes, you know what I'm saying? Because that can cause just extra unnecessary wear. And then we're going to go on to grass parking. So remember, we're going to pull back our yoke. 45-degree angle, nice and slow. Yep, now we're on the grass. And then we're going to go back straight. And a plane just spawned right where I was going to park. That's awesome. So we're going to have to fly like in between. Oh, it just despawned? Nope. Okay. That's a nice little bug. Oh, don't get stuck in the grass. Oh, I would say planes are not normally this close in real life at this airfield. And come back. Start turning. And right there looks good. All right, cool. Now we can release the yoke. All right, throttle. We'll bump it back up to about 1200 RPM as per the engine manufacturer. Parking brake we're going to set. We do have a parking brake, so we'll set that right here. Parking brake is set. Cool. Electrical equipment is off. Beacon will remain on. So at this point, we can turn off our comms. We can turn off our transponder. Cool. Everything is off except the... oh. Yep. Off. Where's my beacon? Beacon's on. All right. Now we're going to check our magnetos. We're just making sure that the engine doesn't turn off. So I'm going to turn my key and we're going to look at the engine RPM. So we'll do right. And there's right. Drops a little bit. Engine doesn't cut off. Go back to both. Yep. Go back to left. Go back to both. Cool. Engine didn't shut off at this point. We're going to go to throttle full idle. And then we're our mixture. We're going to lean it out. And then once the engine shuts off, we'll turn our ignition to off. So we're going to lean out the mixture. And then our prop should sputter out. Right there. Cool. And then at this point, we're going to turn our key to off. Cool. And you'd pull the key out and you'd set it on top of the dash. And then at this point, you'd go master off. And that's it. The only thing you got to do now is install, once you hop out, is reinstall your pitot cover. If you have to moor it. And then it's pretty much ready for the next guy. So that's it. Yeah, that's it. We just did a nice little fly around on Cambridge. Knocked out some good flight training. Now here's the real question. Do you guys want to fly an F-35 and get rid of this lame yoke in honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant assembly? And do you want to see some VKB stick and HOTAS action? Because I can do that. Probably not tonight, but next time I fly, I can fly the 35 since I'm an aircraft mechanic on and I have engine runs. Pretty much can do everything except fly on the F-35. So if they gave me taxi clearance, I'd be 100% confident I'd be able to taxi that around. But I do have the F-35 on here, and it is really good. It's really good. But that will be for another day. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. Appreciate the 2 viewers. And we got a total of 11 viewers. So I don't do this for the views. I do it just for fun. But yeah, if you liked it, thumbs up the video, share it with your friends, and I hope you guys learned something. Peace!